Hello everyone, welcome to the purple classes of the Rus Indica IS Academy, Desh Badla Padhai Badlo. Today we will be talking about a very important topic that is called industrial policy and their effects on industrial growth. So today we'll be discussing like how the industrial development of our country took place, in what phases, in what decades, what has happened, and what type of industrial policy has been thought by our country, our political leaders, and how based on the various circumstances and situation, how we keep on changing our industrial policies and where we are now as per our industrial policy. So we will be all talking regarding this in our today's session. So let's start with our session right away. So this is industrial policy and their effects on industrial growth. So before starting, we should know what is the meaning of industrial policy. What is the meaning of industrial policy? Whenever we are reading something, we should have, obviously every time we should have some exact definition of something, right? So again, we also have a very exact definition, that is of it is a official strategic effort. That means here the government has given the official strategic effort that government is going to put. So government here will tell like this is all the places that we are going to put our efforts. In this all places we are going to put our development plans. Okay, so there is a focus area which government try to provide in their industrial policy, and based on these points and plans only our industrial policies goes and move ahead in all the manufacturing units, whether service unit, agriculture, all take this as a model point and just try to work on it. Okay, so this is called industrial policy or industrial policy plan. So if we go by the objective, like exactly whenever we are putting some policy, we are putting some kind of objectives also over there. So what are the objective of our industrial policies? So what is the first objective whenever we are putting any kind of policy? Obviously, anything that we are putting in this context, any policy that is coming, any rule that is coming, obviously they are focusing on the growth and productivity, right? Growth in terms of GDP, productivity in terms of production. Okay, production can be of anything, can be of service, can be of primary sector, can be of manufacturing sector, anywhere. Okay, so that is the main thing, that we wanted to sustain the growth along with the productivity, and with the sustained growth and productivity we also wanted to gain the employment also, in order to provide a quality employment to the working population of our country. Okay, and because of this only we will be properly able to utilize our human resources in a proper way. Human resources in the form of people who are coming out of colleges, engineering college, medical college, wherever it is there. So they should have sufficient places to work, so that our human resource get absorbed in various aspects of the jobs. Okay, and after attaining all these things, we wanted to also attain the international competitiveness. If we are working in a very optimum and very productive way, this enhance our international competitiveness. We become more and more competitive. We will compete with the international counterparts, international products, international companies in the job market also. Okay, so this is what another thing that we wanted to achieve with the help of industrial policy, is to attain the international competitiveness and to transform India into a major partner player in the global arena, which we are already being there for today's. Right? So these are the important objectives. So whenever you are writing any question on industrial policy, you should know what is the reason why we are putting the industrial policy, what is the process, and how we are going to measure this. Whether we are properly utilizing our human resources, whether we are getting proper productivity, whether we are getting proper growth. So this is what is the like what we call it as a parameter in which you can exactly find out like whether your policies are working properly or not. Now industrial policies are divided into three phases. Before independence, that is before 1947. Then after independence from 1947 to 1991. Then after 1991, when we took the LPG reform. Okay, so this is how we have divided our industrial policies into various eras. We call it as like phases. Okay, before independence, bit after independence, and before 1990, and then after 1991. So first of all, we will be checking before independence, pre-independence, what was going on. So we will be talking about from 1860s to 1850s, what was there. Okay, so it was under the British. We were under the British control, and British were ruling our country. Okay, so there is no concept of Indian government over there, right? Though that was the British government. So during that time, there was private sector dominance was there. Okay, British people are trying to create a lot of obstacles. You might have seen, if you have read the ancient history. So British try to create a lot of obstacles in order to bring down the Indian industries, local industries. Because during that time, 1880, 1880s, 17s, like that, Indian trade is flourishing. Indian trade is earning a lot of foreign forex reserve, and there was a very minimum government investment that is there, and maximum private sector dominance was there, and private sector investment was there, and the situation is of laissez-faire. That means there is nobody who is saying anything to you. You are working on your own. You are doing production as per the market. So there is no too much government regulation is there. Okay. Then transitioning power. During the interwar period of World War I and World War II, the Indian entrepreneurs got emerged. Okay, you know, Jamshedji Tata was there, 1911, 1919 and 1917. During that time, Tata Steel, Tesco came into being. Okay, so slowly they started challenging the British supremacy by the end of World War II. And by the end of World War II, the British supremacy has already taken by a hit, and this was the best time that Indian entrepreneur and Indian industries have taken the maximum advantage of that, and slowly they have started making their own indigenous working capital. They have even started their indigenous production of the goods. Okay, so what was the industrial growth of 1880s to 1847 signify? Because we were focusing on import substitution. Okay, so Indian industrial growth was fueled by import substitution. That means we are substituting what we are earlier getting as import, we are substituting with our own indigenous product, whether it is textile, whether it is steel, whether it is shipping, whether it is automobile. These all have shown a significant advancement during that era. Okay, because at that time, slowly we were able to produce our indigenous products, and we have started removing the foreign products, and we started doing import substitution. And there is a lot of entrepreneurship activities that were going on during the during the Indian independence time. And we have Tatas, we have Birlas, we have Dalmias, we have Walchand Hirachand is there. They have played a very pivotal role in making India a diversified country, making India self-sufficient in some of the products. Okay, and these companies were there who, over on their foundation, India has taken a huge leap of jump. Okay, so this was the during the pre-independence era time was there. Okay, now we are coming into the post-independence. So this is a kind of a detailed analysis that we are going to do over here. So we will be starting off the first industrial policy that came in 1948. That came in 1948. So let's see what was the industrial policy of 1948. So you should know, like, this policy was announced on 8th April 1948, like after just close to one year after our independence in 1947. This is the first economic policy of our country, and during that time we have decided that we will be following a mixed economic pattern. Mixed economic, like we will be having a socialist principles also, we will be having some capitalist principles also. So we will be having a like mixed economy kind of a thing. Like here we are not going that much in a socialist in the sense that we will be some industries will be controlled by the public sector. Okay, some industry will be controlled by the public sector, and in the capitalist we call it as some industry will be controlled by the private sector. Okay, so you can call that as a public private mix that we will be having in our industrial policy of 1948. So the some of the major highlights was there: industries with government control. So there are major industries, big industries are there which are put directly under the government control. Okay, these are like they will be put under the central list, that is coal, power, railway, civil aviation, arms and ammunition, and defense. Right, these are the important industries which are directly under the control of the central government. Then after that, industry with a state monopoly. State means state have been also given certain monopoly, and for certain industry they are being put under the state list, that is paper industry, medicine, pharma, textile, cycle, rickshaw, two-wheeler. All these industries are there which are put under the state monopoly, right? Then after that, whatever is left under that only, there under after that also there are a lot of industries are there which are put under the private control. After too much scrutiny. Okay, so there is a importance of small scale and cottage industry which are being especially being given to the private sector. Okay, which are being specially given to the private sector. Okay, so this is how the industry were divided during the industrial policy of 1948. Now we are moving towards the industrial policy of 1956, and this is the main industrial policy. Why? That we will be discussing now. Because the main reason this policy has been set up, because during that time in 1951 the Constitution of India already came into being. During that time only 5-year plan have also been introduced, and we have decided to follow a socialist pattern of our society. Okay, so these are the three important things that has happened, and during that time only this industrial policy of 1956 came into being, and this policy was formulated by Mahalanobis model of growth. Okay, he is Mahalanobis model of growth. He was an economist and he has created this policy of industrial policy of 1956. Now we will be seeing under what all important things that has been discussed along with the Mahalanobis model. Okay, so under the industrial policy of 1956, the reservation for the industry has been done. So reservation means the industry divided into three categories: Schedule A, Schedule B, Schedule C. Okay, so again here also there is a concept like some industries will be going to the central government directly to full monopoly, some industries will be going to state, that is full monopoly, and some are being given to the private sector. So under the Schedule A, so there are 17 industrial areas are there in which central government has been given complete monopoly. That means 100% control of the central government has been there under these industries. Then we have a Schedule B under which 12 industries are there which are being directly given to the state government. The way they wanted to expand, okay, we're supposed to take up the initiative with more expensive, followed by the private sector. Along with this industrial policy, there was a concept of compulsory licensing also being launched. Compulsory licensing, we will be seeing what is the meaning of compulsory licensing. Then we have a Schedule C. So whatever is left in Schedule A and Schedule B, they are put under this Schedule C. Now under Schedule C, private enterprises have been given charge to set up the industry, right? Now, what is the meaning of compulsory licensing? Compulsory licensing means where, if like in Schedule C only, because Schedule A and Schedule B are directly under central government control, so there is no need of license. But in Schedule C, there are certain industry in which you need license from the government in order to operate. It is coal, lignite, distillation, brewing of alcoholic drinks, cigars, cigarette, drugs, and pharmaceutical, household appliances, and hazardous chemicals. For this, you require a compulsory licensing from the central government, okay, in order to operate that factory, right? So then after that, under this industrial policy of 1956, the main focus area of them is that they wanted to put most of the thing under the central government control. That means they wanted to do industrialization under public sector. So glorification of government companies was done during this policy. Major focus was being given to the heavy industries. Okay, even our Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru also said that these are the temples, the industries are temples of modern India. We call it that. Okay, modern India. He even said that like dams are there, IITs are there, okay, IAMs are there, okay, these are all called temples of modern India, temples of modern India. So major focus area has been given into the public sector and glorification of the public sector, special focus on heavy industry, which may be automobile, iron, steel, coal, lignite, and all these things. Focus area, because during the time of independence there was a lot of regional disparities were there. So focus has been given that industry should be open in the area where a lot of disparities are there. So you can see like why a lot of industries are there in Jharkhand, why a lot of industries are there in Bihar, why a lot of industries are there in Odisha. Obviously, they are some of the backward areas of our country, especially Jharkhand is there, Madhya Pradesh central area is there. But in order to tackle the regional disparity, government has came up with a concept of creating and making a PSU, making and constructing a PSU in a totally backward and underdeveloped region of our country. Because if the PSU got constructed over there, so it gives a boost to the local economy. Okay, it gives boost to the local economy, and once local economy try to run, it creates jobs, it create more and more economic value, and slowly it also provide jobs to the local population, and because of that the problem of migration also gets low. Okay, then emphasis on small industries. So heavy industries are being totally taken care by the central government, state government. So there are a lot of small industries are also there, which we call it as cottage industry, very small industry. We call the paper industry is there, silk industry is there. Okay, so we call that under the khadi and village industry, which have been given special focus and special government support has been given. And you know that KVIC, Khadi Village and Industrial Commission, has been launched in order to promote these like small village industries. So they will be working under Prime Minister Employment Generation Program, Prime Minister Employment Generation Program, because these industry will be creating the local employment at that level. Okay. So here, if you can see, most of the people might be thinking that, sir, what was what type of industries were there at various schedules. So in the Schedule A, in which central government has a full control, like arms and ammunition, atomic energy, iron, steel, heavy plant machinery, coal, lignite, mineral oil, mining, aircraft, railway, shipbuilding, telephone, electricity generation. Then Schedule B, in which state government has a full monopoly and control, is minor minerals, aluminium, machine tools, ferroalloys, chemical industries, antibiotics, fertilizer, synthetic rubber, chemical pulp, road transport, sea transport. All these things are there. Okay. Now, and Schedule C, all industries not included in Schedule A and Schedule B are being put under that your Schedule C company. Okay, so this is industrial policy of 1956. Now we are moving towards the industrial policy of 1969. Now, as we move on to the industrial policy of 1969, so this is basically a licensing policy. Focus on licensing only. because what was there of the issue related to 1956, there were a lot of issue related to licensing during that time. So in 1969 this issue of licensing was resolved by bringing the new policy that is called industrial policy of 1969. Okay, so licensing policy had the following reason. Why exactly we wanted to go for licensing policy is that we wanted to exploit our natural resources, whatever the natural resources are there. Mining is there, like our biosphere, natural resources are there. Then we have hydrological resources are there, we have mineral resources are there, we have geological resources are there in the form of our oil, crude oil, and various other things are there. Okay, so exploitation of resources for development of all, that is the first policy that we are having. Then priority of resource exploitation for the industry. We have to prioritize the resource use. Whatever the resources are there, we have to prioritize those resources for exploitation. That means it is not like that unnecessarily we are taking out the resources which exactly we don't need. So we need to prioritize, like this is the resource and how we are going to extract that resources for the benefit of our society. So this is called prioritization of resources. Then price control of goods produced by the licensed industry. So there is a need to control the prices also, so that, because it is not like that the license industries are having a like they have a patent over the thing, sorry, not patent, so they have a license to charge any amount for any product. Like if we say liquor, that means it is a license industry and you cannot simply sell at any rates. Okay, for that also government provide a price control mechanism. Okay, then government also focuses on checking the concentration of economic power, so that economic power should not get concentrated on few hands. Okay, so the resources should not be into the hands of only certain people, certain family, or certain big powerhouses. So there is again a need for checking on the concentration of the economic resources. Then we have to channelize the investment in the desired direction based on our planning process. Okay, so this is what why we have gone through the licensing policy, in order to control the way the resources are extracted and the way the resources are sold into the market. Okay, now during the 1969 there was one act that also been passed, that is called Monopolistic and Restrictive Trade Practice Act, that we call it as MRTP Act. Okay, so under this act, what was the thing that they have tried to put on is that any firm which is having asset worth rupees 25 crore or more, any company or any firm that is having asset worth rupees 25 crore or more, they are being put under obligation to take permission from the government of India whenever they are trying to expand into the greenfield ventures, or if they are taking over in any other firm. Okay, so these are called as MRTP company. Okay, any company whose asset value is 25 crore or more, they have to take permission from the central government if they are trying to invest in, or if they are trying to expand in any venture, greenfield ventures, or if they are trying to take over any company. Okay, so these are called as MRTP companies. And after few years, like in 1980s, this has been 25 crore has been changed to 50 crore and later to 100 crore in 1985. Okay, so this is MRTP companies are there, right? Then comes industrial policy of 1973. What is there in the industrial policy of 1973? Now with the industrial policy of 1973, the industries were divided into core industry. Core means the most important industries which are called as the backbone of our country. Backbone of our country. Core industries, right now also we are following this whole concept, okay, in order to find out the production manager and various type of inflation. Okay, core inflation if you wanted to find out, right? So these industries are categorized as iron and steel, cement industry, coal industry, crude oil refining, and electricity. These are important core industries on which every other industry is being dependent. Okay, so out of these six industries, the private sector may apply for a license for the industries which were not part of Schedule A of industrial policy. That means we know that there are Schedule A, Schedule B, and Schedule C companies are there. But now the private party can apply for a license for industries which are not part of Schedule A. That means for Schedule B and Schedule C, you can apply for it. Okay. So private firm can apply for that license if they have a total asset of rupees 20 crore or more. Okay. But some industries were put under the reserve list, in which only the small and medium industry could be set up. Okay, so there are certain industries are there that are called as reserved list, for which only the small and medium industry you can set up. It is not like that you can set up like if any you are a big player and you can set up a very big industry on that. No, there are certain industry which are reserved for, especially for small and medium industries. Okay, so the concept of joint sector partnership is also being put under this. Under the industrial policy of 1973, the concept of joint sector, that means partnership among the state, center, and private sector for certain degree of industry, and also a very important limited permission of foreign investment, that we call it as FDI. We also call it as, for certain multinational company, they can come as subsidiaries. That means they cannot come as their own. They can take the help of Indian company as a subsidiary in order to launch their products. Okay, like if I say Reliance is an Indian company. Okay, Reliance is an Indian company, and if Coca-Cola wanted to come to India, so Coca-Cola with the help of Reliance only can release their product in Indian market during the industrial policy of 1973 as a subsidiary company. Okay, so with a multinational company and allowed to be set up as subsidiary in the country. Okay, so with the help of certain subsidiary company only you can set up. Okay, now coming the industrial policy of 1977. So whatever the small sector was there that we were talking about here, right? We are having the small sector reserve list, only the small and medium enterprises are there. So this small sector under the 1977 got classified into three groups. Pehla kya? First is cottage and household industry. Second is tiny sector. Third one is small scale sector. Later on, this got converted into MSME sector after few years. Okay. So what are the tiny sector? What are the tiny unit? Where the investment in machinery and equipment is up to rupees 1 lakh. Okay, and they are situated in town or a village with a population of less than 50,000 based on 1971 census. Correct? Then what are the small scale? Investment of up to 10 lakh, and in case of auxiliaries, a fixed capital of up to 15 lakh. So they will be coming under the small scale industry, right? So this is how they have divided the industry into cottage, household, tiny, and small scale industries, right? So this whole concept got converted into MSME, medium, small, and micro, small and medium enterprises in the future learning, and we will be seeing in the future lectures like what is the new criteria that we are utilizing right now in order to identify what is the industry is micro, medium, or small. Okay, so and under the industrial policy of 1977, wherever foreign investment is unnecessary, that was totally prohibited. Okay, so that has been said that unnecessary foreign investment we don't need. We only need foreign investment in the area where actually we are needing it, and unnecessary foreign investment has been totally prohibited, and focus was on village industries. Emphasis on village industry because these are the industry which can create rural employment. They can create rural employment. And again, there is a redefinition of the small and cottage industries has been done by the KVIC, Khadi Village and Industrial Commission, has again been restructured in order to total put emphasis on the village industries. And focus was on the level of production, like they wanted to increase the production, and they also wanted to control the prices of the goods, of the essential commodities, so that proper control on the prices is also being done by the government during this 1977 period. Okay, now we are coming into the industrial policy of 1980s. So under the industrial policy of 1980s, again the foreign investment via technology transfer, again they have put it very specifically that we will be needing foreign investment along with the technological transfer, then you can get a proper route of foreign investment in our country. And then again MRTP limit has been revised. So we have already discussed that in 1980s this monopolistic restricted trade plastic has been raised to 50 crore, and in 1985 it has been raised to 100 crore, right? So why this has been done, what is the main reason, is that because government knows that we need to put heavy industries, we need to put big industrial units which can provide jobs and production capacity increase that government wanted to do. Then process of licensing, industrial licensing, which was too restrictive, too controllable during that time, has also been eased down. Okay, so liberal attitude has also been followed in this 1980s policies. Okay, and then again the redefined of small unit to ensure the faster growth. Right now the tiny sector right now the tiny sector has been revised as up to rupees 2 lakh rupees. In a small scale it is 10 to 25 lakh 20 lakhs, and for ancillary unit it is 15 to 25 lakhs. So again there is a revision that has happened to the cottage industry, small and cottage industry, where tiny sector limit has been raised to 2 lakh rupees, and for the small scale that has been raised from 10 to 20 lakhs, and for ancillary unit it has been raised from 15 to 25 lakhs. Okay, so the industrial policy of 85 and 86 has very important provision that they have changed MRTP limit, revised to 100 crore. So more big industries were able to set up, because the concept of bigger industries was there. Industrial licensing process got revised. Now compulsory licensing is only needed for 64 industries, rest you can open it on your own. Okay, you just need certain government rules and regulation that you have to follow, but now only 64 industries require government compulsory licensing. And focus has been given to the sunrise industry, very very important, sunrise industries, that means telecom sector. Okay, telecom sector, computer sector, electronic sector. During this time only we have seen a setting up of various important IT companies in our country, whether we have Infosys, Tata TCS, and Wipro, and all these things are there. They were rising during that decade only. Okay, because government is providing additional support under the head of sunrise industries. Right now comes the very very important industrial policy, that is of 1991. Okay, so in 1991 what was happened, that India has to take such a drastic and sudden measure of opening up the economy, because we were facing with the balance of payment crisis. Balance of payment means we are only left with 15 days of forex to pay for our imports. If we are not able to pay, then we will be defaulting on our imports. Okay, so this was all interconnected events are there. So this was just one crisis that has happened. So during that time, Gulf War was going on between Iraq and America along with the Kuwait, because of the Kuwait. Okay, so around 64 countries are fighting with Iraq over, that is called as Gulf War, because of sudden price rise are rising of the oil, because in the Gulf region the war is going on. So there is a huge disruption of oil supply that is happening. So because of that, Indian forex reserve goes down. Then private remittance is not coming from the overseas market because of the Gulf War, because most of our people who are working abroad are working in the Gulf region. So because of the job losses and various other things, so they were not able to send the remittance to the country. Okay, last year India has got more than 100 billion of remittance, right? So India is the biggest remittance getter of the world, right? And inflation is already peaking up to 17%. So 17% is the inflation, and fiscal deficit has already crossed 8.4% of the GDP. And by June 1991, we are only having 2 weeks of import coverages. We were having only 2 weeks of import coverages that were there with us. Okay, so there is a need to have some kind of immediate measure that has to be taken, right? So what has happened? So the major highlights what India has adopted. India has adopted the LPG reform. L means liberalization. We have already done this topic. Then privatization, and then globalization. So some of the important highlights of the industrial policies of 1991 are here. So first of all, we have de-reserved the industries. Earlier 17 industries were there as per the 1956 policy, but now only 8 industries were there which are reserved for central government, and rest are open to the private sector. So these 8 industries are arms and ammunition, atomic energy, coal, mineral oil, mining of iron ore, manganese, gold, silver, mining of copper, lead, zinc, atomic mineral, and railway. These are reserved for central government. Obviously these are the core areas which has to be reserved for the government of India. Then what is the current scenario? Okay, earlier this was the scenario, but right now what is the scenario is, right now only 2 industries are there which are fully or partially reserved for the central government. They are atomic energy, 100% control, railway, 100% control of the central government, right? Then de-licensing of the industries. So there are a lot of industries which were earlier under the compulsory provision of licensing belonging to B and C, were cut down to only 18. So now only 18 industries are there for which you require compulsory licensing policy. Okay, but right now what is the current scenario? It is only 4 industries are there for which you require compulsory licensing, like aerospace defense, gunpowder, industrial explosive and detonating fuse, dangerous chemicals, tobacco, cigarette and related product. These are there in which you require compulsory licensing. Only 4 industries are there. Okay, now and then after that, abolition of monopolistic restrictive trade practice limit. So earlier that limit was 100 crore, but so because of that the companies are not able to do the merger, the companies are not able to do the acquisition and take over. So in like in 2002, a competition act was passed which has replaced the MRTP act. Okay, so this MRTP act has also been removed, and now government have started promoting the foreign investment. Now foreign companies are allowed up to 51% under automatic route for certain high technology firm. Okay, 51% means that means you have the ownership control, and there are 100% FDI that is allowed in certain large sector. Okay, so we have a policy of from 51 to 100% of FDI in sector based on various type of categories. Okay, so now this is what our industrial policy of 1991, and till 2023 we were following this industrial policy of 1991. Okay, so right now government have even paved way for 2023 industrial policy. Okay, so first of all we will be doing some of the new industrial policy, what has happened during that time, what new things has happened during. Okay, so under the new industrial policy we have started setting up national investment and manufacturing zone. So what is this? So under national investment and manufacturing zone, we are coming it with setting up a huge and a big investment and manufacturing zone close to a area of at least 5,000 hectare. productive environment we wanted to create, so that from proper primary to secondary and tertiary transition can happen properly. So we will be creating a cluster based approach under the national manufacturing policy. Okay, so in order to promote and in order to boost our manufacturing for 25% of the GDP, we have come up with a concept of national investment and manufacturing zone. So as of March 2023, we are having 16 NIMZ, and the total investment here is around up to rupees 1 lakh crore rupees. It is still there. Okay, so under the national investment and manufacturing zone and SEZ, the main focus of NIMZ is on industrial growth. Okay, NIMZ is focusing on industrial growth with the help of local state government, local industrial development and employment generation. But what about the SEZ? Now people normally ask what is the difference between SEZ? So SEZ is especially focusing on the export oriented things, and NIMZ will be focusing on your local boosting economy, local manufacturing boosting, local industrial development and employment generation. Okay, so based on the size, infrastructure planning, regulatory procedure and exit policies, there is a difference between these two important terms are there. Okay, so what is the benefits of the units which are there under the NIMZ? Okay, so job loss policy for suitable worker compensation will be provided. You can raise external commercial borrowing by NIMZ developer. Capital gain tax exemptions will be provided to you. Okay, asset transfer from sick farm by a special purpose vehicle. Soft loan exploration, skill upgradation program will be also provided by the National Skill Development Corporation. So if you are opening up your unit in NIMZ, you will be getting all these important government support over there. Okay, and what are the special incentive for green technologies? Mandatory environmental and water audits you will be getting. You will not be asked to pay for water cess. 10% one-time capital subsidy for zero water discharge unit will be also given to you. Compulsory rainwater harvesting facility will be provided to you. Incentive under existing scheme for renewable energy adoption and again obtaining under a green rating for the building will be also provided. So if you are following some green technologies, or if your company or manufacturing unit is working under any of the green technologies area, or they are being part of the green technology area, so again you will be getting some supplementary benefit out of it. So these are the differences between NIMZ and SEZ. So NIMZ coming under the National Manufacturing Policy 2011, and SEZ were there before that of 2005 Act. Minimum area for NIMZ 5,000 hectare, and for SEZ it is 10 to 1,000 hectare depending upon the sector. Maximum area of NIMZ is not specific, but for SEZ it is 5,000 hectare. That is the maximum area that has been there. Then what about the income tax exemption to small and medium enterprises? 100% for first 5 year and 50% for the next 5 year. Environmental impact assessment that has been provided by the state government, and under SEZ it is provided by the project developer, right? So this is what the difference between NIMZ and SEZ. So SEZ is especially focusing on the export oriented unit, export, especially focus on export, and it is for employment generation, local productivity and local product and manufacturing capabilities generation. Okay, now what is our national manufacturing policy that we are following? So our national manufacturing policy came into being in 2011. In 2011, we have set up a policy that we will be creating our manufacturing of 25% of the GDP. Okay, right now it is 15 to 16% of the GDP, but we have to reach up to 25% of the GDP, and we wanted to create 100 million jobs, that is around close to 10 crore jobs over a decade period of time. So that is what a focus area that we have taken under the national manufacturing policy. So objectives are there because earlier we have 12 to 14% in the medium term and 2 to 4% differential medium term growth that we wanted, so that at least by 2022 we will be getting up to 25% of the GDP. We have still not achieved that because the 2 years of 2020 and 2021 has gone into the COVID, and because of that we have severely hit by our industries got severely hit by these areas. Then increase the rate of job creation up to 100 millions additional job has to be created in a decade. Like in 2011 we have selected, and by 2022 we are expecting that we will be creating 10 crore jobs. 10 crore jobs we wanted to create in our whole market. This is what the national manufacturing policy was there. So differential every year 2 to 2% we will be increasing, and by the time we will be reaching 2022 we will be getting 25%, but still we are far behind our own target. Okay, so the Department of Industrial Promotion and Promotion Policy and Promotion under Ministry of Commerce has initiated a new industrial policy that came in May 2017. So this new policy will be subsuming the national manufacturing policy. Okay, so under the new industrial policy in May 2017, the focus area has been given for 6 important sectors. So the 6 areas that are there under the national manufacturing policy, under new industrial policy, that we are focusing on are manufacturing and MSME sector, because this is what we are wanted to achieve 25% of the GDP, and also we wanted to create around 10 crore jobs that we wanted to create during that time by 2022, that we wanted to create, but now the target has been postponed for that. And then upgradation and technology adoption, the sectors like whether we have artificial intelligence, machine learning, or augmented reality, virtual reality. Okay, then we have various other data sciences are there. So we wanted to upgrade our technologies and innovation in that area. Then ease of doing business properly. Regulatory environment, we have to make it so easy that anybody can come India and open a factory, open up enterprises in a record time. Okay, so that is why again we wanted to provide a lot of clearances and everything. So again, this is again a focus area of how we can improve the ease of doing business in our country. Then infrastructure and investment, so we are investing very heavily on infrastructure, and last year we have even set aside around a certain percentage of GDP of a percentage in order to especially focusing on the infrastructure sector, infrastructure development of our country. Okay, 100 lakh crore like that. Okay, so I don't remember the figure over here, but actually you should here you should go with the current figure like how much it is, like maybe it is rupees 100 lakh crore maybe. Okay, like that. Okay, 2 lakh crore, 10 lakh crore, 5 lakh crore, or 2 lakh crore, whatever it is. So based on that you should know here with the you can go with the budgetary document, you can check the budget document, you can go to economic survey, and from there you can get the current data. So in our future classes we will be putting this important data in our classes, because that only during that time we will be discussing all the current affairs, right? Then trade and fiscal policies are to be streamlined with the international standards. They have to be streamlined with the international standards, and we also have to provide proper skills. So national skill development center is there. Okay, then Prime Minister Kaushal Vikas Yojana is also running in order to implement this skill development and skill enhancement program in order to generate the employability of our people of our country. Okay, so the new industrial policy, as you know, that we are focusing on the Make in India campaign. Make in India, we have 25 important sectors that we have identified over here. I hope everybody might be knowing what are the 25 sectors that are there in the Make in India. And also we are also inculcating smart technologies like Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, robotics, advanced manufacturing, and we have even started working on that, and we are also even started implementing all these things in our whole process. Now we are coming into the yet another industrial policy in which government is to the process of disinvestment. What is the meaning of disinvestment? So under the industrial policy, when we normally go like there are a lot of companies are there where 100% government stakeholder is there, where 95% government control is there. So government try to disinvest their shares and try to sell their shares in order to disinvest from their own holdings. Okay, we know that government has played a very important foundational role, right? But because now the situations are changing, now the private sector is taking place, private sector is picking up, so now the government thinks that it is necessary to leave the places for the private sector to take care of it, because during the time of independence and up to 1970-75, we were having a lot of issue with the capital and everything, so government tried to invest in all the places. But right now our private sector is booming, so that is why government is focusing on the disinvestment policy and privatization. Okay, so this has started in 1991 because we have followed the LPG reform, privatization, liberalization and globalization. So whatever industries are there which can be run in a better way by the private party, that has to be the management control has to be given to those private sector parties, and government should provide the external support there. So what is the meaning of disinvestment? Process of selling the ownership of a company to the other third party. So objective is what? Obviously, we wanted to reduce a fiscal burden. When the government sell the shares, government will get the money out of it. So this money will be utilized for India's betterment, India's development, for India's infrastructure development projects, right? It also improves the public finances. Government will be having extra budgetary resources in order to invest at various places which need resources. Then it encourages the private ownership. Government encourages the private ownership to come and take the control over these companies. Then it funding growth and development programs. So whatever the money and whatever the proceeds that government get, it is utilized for funding other important areas, whether it is healthcare, whether it is education, whether it is skill development, whether it is environment related issues. So their government used to invest in all this money over these areas. Okay, and then maintaining and promotion of the competition in the market. Okay, once the private party comes into place, so the industries comes out from the locking position. Now the industry has to compete in the market. Okay, so once the industry is into the market, industry has to work, industry has to innovate, industry has to put new capital and new products in order to remain in the competitive in the market. Otherwise, if that was there under the government control, industries knows that government will be always there to save us, right? So it creates a kind of a laissez-faire attitude towards the industry. So once we start to privatize and disinvest over there, automatically there is a revival that happens of that company. Okay, then there is a concept of a strategic disinvestment. There is a concept of strategic disinvestment. Whenever we say strategic disinvestment, here we are disinvesting close to 51%. That means we are also transferring the ownership. We are also transferring the ownership also of that company to the private party. Okay, it is like a kind of a total privatization. Simple disinvestment means, like, if government is having 100% share, so government is selling only 10%, so still government is having 90%. Okay, if government after 90% sell 20%, still government is having 70%, right? But in a strategic disinvestment, if government is having 100%, government is selling 51%. So this will be called as strategic disinvestment. That means transferring the ownership and control of public sector entity. So it is not a simple disinvestment, it is a strategic sale, proper privatization, where minimum share to be disinvested is 51%. Okay, so this is given to the strategic partner who is having a very good quality experiences in that whole area of working. Okay, Right now, you might have heard that LIC is mostly government control, have recently disinvested around 10-20% of its shares. Okay, so similarly, they are not being disinvesting strategic ownership, they are only disinvesting a certain part of their ownership. Okay, so with this selling, they are generating resources, and these resources they will be utilizing for various other purposes. At the same time, they are also retaining the control over the company. And once they wanted to sell the strategic ownership, so they will be selling 51% of that share. Okay, that is called strategic disinvestment. So what is the current disinvestment policy that is going on? So the main ideology is that public ownership of PSU should be there. That is what the ideology was there during that time, that public ownership of the PSU should be there, because PSUs are the wealth of nation. It should not be given to any private party. Okay, at least government should hold minimum 50% share in case of minority stake, and up to 50% in case of strategic sale. That means even if government is selling 51%, so government should hold 50%. Okay, that means government should have good amount of control over the PSUs. Okay, now this is what our current disinvestment policy was there, and based on the current disinvestment policy, government keep on trying to sell the stakes based on the situation whenever it comes. Now we are moving towards the next topic, that is called National Investment Fund. Since these all being part of our industrial policy and the funds are being also utilized in this whole process, so we will be discussing this in the whole process. Now, what is the meaning of National Investment Fund? Again, this investment fund has been there in 2005. Okay, special focus, the main thing is that whatever is coming from the disinvestment, whatever is coming from the disinvestment has to be sent to the National Investment Fund. Okay, because this has to be kept outside the Consolidated Fund of India. Why? Because if we are keeping inside the Consolidated Fund of India, we need parliamentary approval. So government do not wanted to take parliamentary approval in case of disinvestment proceeds. So that is why they have created a National Investment Fund, where whatever the disinvestment proceeds are coming, that will be put over here. Okay, and this fund will be of permanent in nature and will be professionally managed, so that they keep on providing suitable returns without depleting the corpus. Okay, so there will be a public sector mutual fund. So this will the money will be invested, and whenever the money will be utilized, this will be utilized in various other purpose, like your social sector schemes, education, health, employment, wherever it is. Okay, so it has said that 75% of the annual income of this fund, whatever the income that you are going to get from this fund, 75% of that income will be spent on social sector schemes or like that. Okay, like if every year you are getting 100 crore fund income, okay, with this fund, okay, you might be having some thousands of crore fund, so there is a income of that fund that also happened. Like if we have 100 crore income that has happened, so up to 75 crore, 75% has to be invested in social sector schemes, promotion of education, healthcare and employment, right? So this is what is the National Investment Fund, since it is attached to the topic of disinvestment, so that is why we have taken it. Now we are coming into the concept of industrial corridors, very important topic of industrial corridor. Now under the industrial policy, we will be moving to one of the most important topic of industrial corridors, because with the industrial policy we are focusing and we are moving towards the concept of industrial corridor, because that is only the places which will be focusing on our national manufacturing policy. Okay, that we wanted to achieve around 25% of the GDP growth in the manufacturing sector, right? So we all know that various sectors are there which are interdependent on each other, right? Like our textile sector will be dependent on the transport sector, on the agriculture sector. Okay, then we have our food processing industries are dependent on agriculture sector and transport sector. So there is a interdependence of the sectors in each other. So if we really wanted to integrate all these together, we wanted to bring all these together so that we can go and follow a cluster based approach. Cluster means where the raw materials to inputs to the finished goods all are being present at a single places. So this will be very beneficial to our industries in our country. Okay, so industrial corridor, what exactly we think that what is the meaning exactly of the industrial corridor is that in the industrial corridor which is having a very good amount of world class infrastructure, like we will be having high speed transport network. Right now government has came up with the dedicated freight line corridor. Okay, special railway line has been set up. So a special railway line are being set up in order to transport the goods from one place to the other, to the Jawaharlal Nehru port in Mumbai, and we have Kolkata port, right? Then port with a state of art cargo handling capacity, modern airport, then industrial area, economic regions, logistics park on a national logistic pipeline that we have created. Okay, multimodal, we have come up with multi-modal logistic park are being created, right, which will be integrated mmlp, right, mmlp, multimodal logistic parks are being created. Then knowledge park focus on the industrial need based on the type of skill development and training center are being provided. Complementary infrastructure like township and real estate, so wherever the industries are getting developed there, only at the surrounded area we can create a kind of a township and a real estate area over there. And urban infrastructure along the enabling policy framework. So this is what coming under the concept of industrial corridor. So if we go by that, so there are a lot of industrial corridors are there in our country. One is Delhi Mumbai industrial corridor that we have selected. So it is again around 1000 kilometer to 1200 kilometers line is there, which is going from Uttar Pradesh, Haryana, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat and Maharashtra. DMIC, we call it as DMIC. It is $100 billion project, and we have taken loan from the Japanese company, and this whole project will be developed, and along the road line, along the industrial corridor, there will be a supplementary development that will be also taking place. Then Amritsar Kolkata industrial corridor, Chennai Bangalore, this is again one of the most important. Delhi Mumbai is also an important. Eastern coast economic corridor, very important, and Bangalore Mumbai industrial corridor, important. So these are the topmost industrial corridor of our country, and if you go and travel by these lines or anywhere in these roads or anywhere around these two cities or metropolitan city or cosmopolitan city, you will be seeing there is a there's a whole lot of development that is happening along these industrial corridors. Okay, so all industrial corridor means it's like between the cities, between the railway lines. The railway lines are being putting over there, then a very state of the art infrastructure are being put over there. So if you go and travel to from Delhi to Mumbai via road, so you will be seeing that throughout the whole road area you will be seeing a lot of industries will be there. If you are going from Bangalore and Mumbai, then you will be also seeing again a good amount of infrastructure development along the road areas. Okay, so this is industrial corridor. Now we have come up with a very important concept of national infrastructure pipeline. So under the national infrastructure pipeline, this task force has been headed by Atanu Chakravarti. He was a former economic affairs secretary, came up with a concept of national infrastructure pipeline focusing on creation of a state of the art infrastructure. So here we will be creating a world class infrastructure. For that, how we are going to raise the money? Okay, so around 111 lakh crore rupees investment is needed for the next 5 years, for 2025, to build road, ports, airports, then electricity line, telecom line, etc, etc. Okay, so this is a special national infrastructure pipeline which will be generating the resources from the various places and going to invest in this national infrastructure pipeline. Now we are moving towards the new industrial policy of 2023. So Union Commerce Ministry has released a draft guidelines which will be replacing our 1991 policy. Okay, because this has been especially being launched because there is a lot of disruption that has happened because of the COVID-19 pandemic, and we have got a shock. So there are important two objectives that has been taken under that. First of all is we have to enhance the pace of economic activity. Okay, and then we have to devise mechanism like how we can impart resilience to our industrial sector. So this is what exactly is the objective that we wanted to achieve in the new industrial policy of 2023. Okay, so what reforms we are expecting in our new industrial policy of 2023 is, first of all, we will be creating developmental financial institution so that we can get low cost finance at a very less interest rate, which we can utilize for various development purposes. Okay, then technology fund creation is yet another thing where we will be creating a fund which will be investing in the 21st century skills, 21st century technologies. We will be incentivize the companies with the help of this fund in order to enhance, in order to uptake these industries. Then one nation one standard. One nation one standard means we have to follow like the way we have selected the one nation one tax system of one indirect tax system as GST. Similarly, one nation one standard, whether it is related to availability or quality. Focus of startup in both rural and urban area is yet another one area that we wanted to focus on. Okay, so we will be taking the help of urban local bodies, taking the help of the urban local bodies in creation, and then companies should creating the specialized product. Companies will be creating the specialized product or premium product which we can sell to the outside world. So Department of Promotion of Industry, DPIIT, Department of Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, DPIIT, has formulated this whole policy which is based on the 21st century skill. Then surplus agriculture labor. So we know that around 55% of our labor force is working in agriculture sector. So this labor force we have to channelize to other sector like textile, apparel, shoe manufacturing, which are labor intensive sector, so that they will be able to absorb these labor from the agriculture sector into the manufacturing sector. Then tax concessions are being provided, deadline for manufacturing companies by 2 to 3 years. Then PLI scheme, production link incentive scheme, has to be extended because focus is on China plus one opportunity. Do anybody knows China plus one? The main thing is that we wanted to provide yet another alternative. We wanted to provide yet another alternative for manufacturing. Alternative to manufacturing. It can be India, it can be Taiwan, it can be Indonesia, Korea, or whatever it is. So here we are expecting that we will be the next manufacturing hub of the world. So that is what we call it as China plus one policy, where we are moving away from the manufacturing base of the China, and the company should start investing and create their manufacturing units in India and various other places of the world. Then with this new industrial policy, we wanted to balance out the manufacturing and service sector, because there is too much we are too much inclined towards the service sector. So there is a need to invest in manufacturing sector so that it absorb a certain degree of the workforce, human resource. At the same time, it will also generate a certain degree percentage of the GDP. Okay, and then we also have to check the skill shortage, and we have to provide the skill training using ITIs, engineering colleges, or various Pradhan Mantri skill development mission is there. Okay, Kaushal Vikas Yojana is there. Okay, and focus is on special IT sector where skill shortage is still there and government wanted to provide that. Okay, Then intervention for unskilled and low skilled places. So there are sectors which require where the people so in our country we have a lot of unskilled and low skilled people are there. So we wanted to put them onto the boost in order to put them into the export orientation industries like textile, leather and footwear, which doesn't require that much of skill. Here they will be training you under the footwear skills, leather skills and textile skills. If we can go, we can see that there is a Bangladesh RGM industry is there, which is a very high value industries of textile. So we have to take the example of this Bangladesh RGM industry and we have to reciprocate the same way the Bangladesh is doing in our own country. So this is industrial policy of 2023. So what are the core enablers that will be helping our new industrial policy? So the thing is that a lot of issues are to be solved. So here we have to provide them with the direct incentives like government PLI scheme. Everybody knows that government has come up with a PLI scheme of 1.97 lakh crore rupees during the COVID-19 time in order to boost the manufacturing sector. Okay, so in order to provide incentives to the sector, so government has come up with Atmanirbhar Bharat package. At the same time, we are also focusing on China plus one opportunities, that so that manufacturing units can be created in our own country because there are labor issues that are going on in China, and China having a very stringent policies. Similarly, China plus one means now the world manufacturing has to move away from the China and they have to search various bases like India. They can have a base and Taiwan is there. Then we have Indonesia is there. So at these all places they can set up their bases as a new manufacturing hub. So these will be the core enabler of the industrial policy of 2023. Now we are moving towards some of the most important schemes that are there, which are running in order to implement our various type of industrial policies. Now there are few schemes are there which government is running in order to implement their various type of industrial policies and objective, right? So under that government has taken lot of efforts, like in the form of streamlining the taxation system of indirect taxation system of GST, which came in 2017. Okay, then reduction in the corporate taxes has been done, then ease of doing business reforms has been done, FDI policy has been relaxed by the government, and phased manufacturing program has been launched. We know that during the COVID-19 times, there was a sudden dip of the industries that has happened. So government has come up with the Atmanirbhar Bharat package, and government introduced production link incentive PLI schemes for various ministries. Okay, and then investment opportunities are also there under National Infrastructure Pipeline, National Monetization Plan, India Industrial Land Bank is there, Industrial Park Rating Systems are there, National Single Window Clearances are there. Okay, so under Atmanirbhar Bharat package, around 1.97 lakh crore has been announced in budget of 2021-22 for 14 key sectors of manufacturing. Okay, so government wanted to boost the manufacturing, government wanted to augment the manufacturing of that, government wanted to increase the employability and economic growth. So these important 14 sectors are there in which government started PLI, production link incentive is scheme, because the more and more you produce, the more and more incentives you are going to get. Okay, so these are some of the schemes which are being run by the government. First is the Make in India scheme, was launched by government on 25th September 2014. Around 25 sectors are there under which government is running for that, and government wanted to create a world-class infrastructure for this Make in India innovative, so that we should have our own dedicated innovative products. We will have our premium products, and focus is on vocal for local initiative. People should go and buy the local goods, so that, and the quality goods. So that is why Make in India right now you can see even the defense production up to 75% of indigenization that we have already achieved. And if you go and see, many products are being there, they have a tag of Make in India. Earlier you might have seen that made in China, made in Taiwan, made in Korea was there, but right now you can see most of the products are coming which are made in India. Then industrial corridor development program, which we have already seen greenfield and every, so total 11 industrial corridors are being developed in 4 phases. And ease of doing business, what the government is doing, simplifying the process, rationalizing the process, digitalizing and decriminalizing of the government to business and citizen. Okay, focus area is on like reduction in the procedures, rationalization of the procedures, proper legal provisions and digitalization, so that at ease, if you wanted to open a factory, if you wanted to open a clearance, if you wanted to take anything, you can easily get it at a click of a button. Okay, dashboards are being set up in order to make sure that any international player, if they want any kind of clearances or anything, they can easily get it through a single website and dashboard. Then we have a national single window system is being announced in 2020 and 2021. So it is going to provide end-to-end facilitation and support to the investor, end-to-end facilitation. So this was launched in 2021, right? So the focus area is that it facilitate the seamless clearance at the central and state level. So there are a lot of clearances are there, whether you have environmental clearances, water clearances, road clearances, or whatever, any clearance is there, you will be needing a national single window system where you have to apply that, and in a time frame you will be getting all the clearances that will be done. And right now government is running a PM Gati Shakti, a flagship master plan. Okay, PM Gati Shakti national master plan project that is going on. So under PM Gati Shakti project, okay, so this is a very important GIS based platform portal, Gati Shakti, National Gati Shakti project, where we are facilitating the database decisions. Okay, and also reducing the logistical cost. So there is a empowered group of secretaries and ministers that will be there, so that they will be analyzing all the data under that PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan, and they will be integrating all the data wherever the schemes are running, whatever the schemes are running. So there will be a dashboard that will be running. Okay, and then there will be also a scheme which will be for special assistance to state for capital investment. Okay, so additional provision has been made under of 1 lakh crore rupees for this for to give it to the state government at zero interest rate. Okay, under this part 2 of the scheme, rupees 5,000 crore are being specifically been provided for PM Gati Shakti related expenditure. Focus area is on to provide a national master plan and holistic plan to facilitate a database decision making platform, where we will be linking all the multi-modal infrastructure and also helpful in reducing the cost. Okay, now we are moving towards the next part of it is national logistic policy that has been launched in 17th September 2022. Focus is on to lower the cost of logistic, because if we compare with the developed world, our logistic costs are very high, and because of this cost inefficiency, we are always lag behind the various type of competition. So we need to look a far-reaching interdisciplinary, cross-sectoral and multi-jurisdictional framework, so that we should have a multi-modal integrated facility we should have, so that our whole market get linked together, so that we can compete in the global market. So again, we have a national logistic policies there. Then production link incentive, we have already discussed this. 1.97 lakh crore government is investing for high productions area for to boosting Indian manufacturing. Then Indian footwear and leather development program is yet another a central sector program, which government is allocated around 1700 crore rupees. And it will be further for revision, because government wanted to invest in this area, because this is a job creator area and job absorbing sector from the agriculture, which doesn't require too much of a skill. So government wanted to invest in the area in order to have a competitiveness over this area. Then we have a Northeast Industrial and Investment Promotion Policy. Okay, so for 10 years from 2007 to 2007, it was there to boost industrialization in the Northeast area. So we have a separate policy for Northeast Industrial Development Scheme, NEIDS scheme of 2017 was there to boost employment and income generation in that area. Will affect from 2017 to 5 year it has been boosted. So this was from 2007 to 17, and from this was from 17 to another 5 year. Okay, then we have a scheme to encourage domestic manufacturing of pharmaceutical, because again this is also a high value sector. This is a very high value sector. So this is again government has launched in order to promote this whole pharmaceutical and medicinal sector. We wanted to promote the bulk drugs. Around 3,000 crore rupees is being invested, will be invested by the government in 21 to 24 25 to make bulk drug park. Then we are creating and strengthening our pharmaceutical industry, which is yet another high value industries. We are providing around 500 crore rupees of financial outlay for up to financial year 2025 and 2026. Under this, there will be a whole lot of infrastructure support will be provided. So this whole process will be built on the cluster base, because raw material, technology and everything will be there only at the same places, and it will be like a hub and spoke model that will be created at a cluster base. Okay, like cluster only here, this is a pharma cluster. So all the things related to the production of this whole pharma park will be there for, and and there will be a lot of issues earlier were there regarding the technological upgradation, that will be all been taken care of, and all the proper technologies and latest technologies will be provided in this whole area. Then promotion of medical device park is yet another. They will be getting 100 crore each for Uttar Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Madhya Pradesh, Himachal Pradesh, for creation of common facility for medical device park, right? Then we have a modified program for semiconductor and display of manufacturing ecosystem. Very important sector, because government is focusing on creation of the semiconductor chips, because this is creating lot of imports from outside, and government wanted to create their own semiconductor ecosystem. So under the Atmanirbhar Bharat, government has come up with a package of 76,000 crore rupees. 76,000 crore rupees to create an electronic data design system, manufacturing system and fabrication system of the semiconductor. So this will be providing a good amount of investment in this whole area, and automatically it has even attracted the big players like Tata's and various other Indian players are there who are getting attracted towards this, because government is providing a lot of support in the development of the semiconductor industry. And because semiconductor is the future, because of the batteries and electric use of the various equipments, and phones and various type of electronic equipments are there which requires a kind of a semiconductor to run. So similarly, government is focusing on this creation of this industry. Then FAME India scheme, faster adoption for manufacturing of hybrid electrical vehicles. So it is like government has come up with a subsidy scheme. This is a subsidy scheme of government that is called FAME India scheme for faster adoption of hybrid and electrical vehicles. Okay, so under various phase 1, FAME 1, FAME 2, FAME 3 scheme has been launched. Okay, so for 1st April 2015 for a period of 2 years. Okay, so and subsequently it has been extended to 31st March. Total outlay that has been given has been enhanced to 895 crore. So Indian government is providing you subsidy if you are buying an electrical vehicle, because government is pushing and providing a lot of electrical push in this area. So this is what additional support government is providing for faster adoption of the electrical vehicle. Okay, so promotion of electrical vehicle. Sorry. This is 13. Now, Udyami Bharat scheme. Okay, Udyami Bharat means creation and support of micro, small and medium enterprises. So under Udyami Bharat, government has launched a lot of schemes like Mudra Yojana, Emergency Credit Guarantee Scheme, Sphurti scheme for traditional industries, for MSME sector. So this is all lot of for this MSME sector, for boosting of the MSME sector. Then raising and accelerating MSME performance, that is called RAMP scheme for around 6,000 crore rupees. So for under Udyami Bharat Yojana, for creation of the jobs and creation of the products and productivity, and also to enhance the productivity, we need to support our MSME sector. So with the help of Mudra Yojana, with the help of Emergency Credit Line Guarantee Yojana, with the help of Spurti for traditional industries, and then we have a ramp scheme are there which are functioning in order to enhance our MSME industries. Okay, then we have PM Mega Integrated Textile Region and Apparel, that is PM Mitra, very important, which is specially for creation of textile sector, integrated textile sector. Government wanted to create a mega cluster of textile sector in our country, where we are getting a cutting edge technologies. FDI flow will be also happening over that area. So focus is on 7 mega integrated textile apparel park has to be set up with the outlay of 4,445 crore rupees, like from the starting till the ending, like from the starting, from the spinning, weaving, processing, dyeing, printing, garment and manufacturing, all will be done at a single place with the help of cluster based. Okay, cluster based approach we will be helping over here. So this will make India a global textile hub and global textile market of the world. Okay, so now we are moving towards the end of our session. So what is the effect of industrial policy? What is the effect? So whenever we say that industrial policy that we have set up, so what exactly we are saying, that what exactly we wanted to achieve from the industrial policy? So obviously the first thing is that it stimulates the investment in our country. Okay, there are various general industries, specific industries are there. So under that industrial policy, we provide them with various type of tax breaks and various type of capital expenditure. We provide them with the new technologies and production facilities. Okay, so this boosts our industrial growth. Okay, obviously whenever we have a new policy in line, so it has always provided us with the boost of the industrial growth. Then it also promote innovation. It, because the money is invested in the research and development, foreign direct investment will come. They will come along with the technology. They will be coming India with the help of our technologies. Okay, so this will help in fostering the innovation in our country, and with this innovation we will get new product, we will get new processes, we will get new technologies, and with that we will be able to increase our productivity in the market, and also we will be able to enhance the competitiveness in the market, right? Then creating the market access. So whenever we are creating industrial policy, it provides us and facilitate the market access. Okay, because we are able to protect our trade. We also help in we are also helpful in export promotion initiative, because why? Now we know what type of product, what type of quality of product is needed, especially for international market. So this help in creation of a product which is needed by the market. So this will help in expanding the opportunities, and this will help in selling our Indian domestic market, domestic product to the international customers. Then we have a huge lot of infrastructure development also there, because with the development of the industry, development of transport, development of energy, development of telecommunication, all takes place with high efficient and competitive way. So we will be having a very conducive environment for our industrial growth, because it will help in reducing the transportation cost. It will also provide us with efficient supply chain logistic mechanism, and also it help in boosting the connectivity. With the industrial policy in place, we will be also be helpful in skill development in our country. We will be helping in enhancing the skill and capability. Right now government is coming with a lot of policies and initiative and schemes which are especially focusing on the skill development, like vocational training program, educational program. Incentives are also being provided for skilling the workforce. Then regulatory environment. So industrial policy also comply the regulatory framework that government wanted the people to follow, the companies to follow. Okay, like they should follow environmental standards, they should follow the safety standards, they should follow the competitive policy. So all these things are being followed by the company when they have a proper procedure, proper framework is at the place. Okay, so proper striking the balance between the efficiency, social welfare, sustainable industrial growth with proper followings of the rules. Then cluster development, because since you know a textile park, we are creating textile park in a cluster way, so that proper logistics, proper logistics can be used so that we do not have to run from one place to the other in order to get the various type of raw material or resources. Okay, so it helps in creation of industry cluster. We can call that, okay, this place is known for brass making. Okay, we can say that this place is known for textile making. Okay, all the material, raw material, technology, and everything is present at that place. Okay, so this boosts the innovation. This also provide knowledge spillover, and it also increases the economics of the scale of working whenever we are working in a cluster based module. So these are all the important effects of industrial policies. So guys, we have already completed all the topic under this industrial policy. We will coming out with the next session. Till then, thank you so much. Bye bye, take care.